Hey guys, welcome to the 6th Round Podcast Bellator edition. Today we're breaking down Bellator 97, probably the most stacked card in Bellator history. We got two title fights, light heavyweight tournament finale, and also a featherweight fight with Patricio Pitbull. On the undercard, we actually have Will Brooks and a bantamweight bout for Season 9, even though it's technically for Summer Series. It'll conclude in Season 9, featuring Rodrigo Lima. But it's also the Bellator debut of Bubba Jenkins, so even the prelims are really stacked. I'm pumped to see this, but since the bantamweight tournament doesn't have any lines out, we're not going to be covering it. So just 5 fights to break down. So here we go with your Bellator breakdown. First up is a featherweight featured fight, Jared Downing versus Patricio Pitbull. Jared Downing actually stepping in for an injured Rob Emerson, who was making his Bellator/featherweight debut. But he's coming up against Patricio Pitbull, who in my opinion is the runner-up best featherweight in Bellator. Very close title fight in his last fight with Ben Askren. He'd been out for a year before that. But he's coming against Jared Downing. Jared Downing, really rounded guy coming out of XFC. He's coming as the underdog, Fuss Floor 25. He's not 9-2 record overall. Never been finished. Usually wins by decision. He's a grinder, really tough competitor. I'm actually really impressed with this match compared to Rob Emerson. I really thought Pitbull was just gonna run right through Rob Emerson without much of a problem. But I think Jared Downing gives a lot more issues, and I actually think he does stand a chance. But he's coming against Patricio Pitbull, who's just overall one of the best featherweights in Bellator. He's the favorite at -550. 17-2 for a record, very impressive, especially against very top-tier talent. And I really expect him to just win everywhere. I think he's better on the feet. I think he's better on the ground. I think Jared could grind out a decision, considering both guys have never been finished. I do think this will go the distance, but currently the over is at -190, and so I don't know if I'll be playing that or not. But I will be parlaying Pitbull along with the other chalk. Throughout this show, you'll be seeing how pretty much I have all the faith in the chalk. We're not going to make much money, I'm sorry to say. But yeah, Patricio Pitbull, I'm going to say unanimous decision. Then going right into the heavyweight tournament finale, Ryan Martinez versus Vitaly Minakov. This is a very interesting fight. Ryan Martinez actually came in as a late replacement for the injured Vinicius Spartan and actually had a very impressive fight against Rich Hale, which I had Rich Hale in that fight. And Rich just made a mistake. He stayed on his back, and Martinez capitalized. What he really brings to the table is unbelievable punching power, both on the ground and the feet. He also has decent submission defense, but that's really about it. He's coming in as the underdog at +240. Some people are on him, some value there. I can see where they're coming from. He's a very dangerous striker, record 10-2. So he has been submitted in the past, but overall very tough to finish. He actually does train with Big Country Roy Nelson and has really mixed up his camp recently and really improved his game overall. And although he does have a puncher's chance, I really don't think he has much coming into this fight, especially against Vitaly Minakov with a record of 11-0. He's the favorite at -280. I'll also be parlaying him with along with all the other chalk on the card. But Vitaly Minakov, 8-time Sambo champion, gold medalist, world-renowned fighter. He's an amazing guy, and he's developed his striking, this combat Sambo, so his striking is a little bit above standard for the usual Sambo practitioner. But, people are comparing him to Fedor, and he was really the favorite to win this tournament early on, and I'm sticking with him to the end. And I'm going to say submission, Vitaly Minakov by submission, probably second round. Leading us right into the light heavyweight tournament finale, Jacob Noe versus King Mo. I really think this would be really cut and dry. I think King Mo is a world-class wrestler with knockout power both on the ground and the feet. And he's coming up against Jacob Noe, who has, as a former boxer with a record of 0-1, not much on the ground or the feet. I think he's just kind of there. He's not really great at anything, but he can do everything to a point. Comes with a record of 12-2-1. He is the huge underdog at +700. I see absolutely no value in Jacob Noe. Although there has been some harsh words, King Mo said he doesn't like Jacob Noe, and Noe has challenged him to stand on the feet, and King Mo says he will stand with him. I'm still going to go with Mo. Mo coming with a record of 10-2-1. He is the tremendous favorite at -1,100. I'm going to be adding him to the parlay as well with all the other chalk. But again, King Mo saying coming out, he's going to come out and strike. I don't like that idea, but you know what? Even on the feet, I still think he has what it takes to win. Although I do believe if he would go for the takedown early and work his ground and pound, he should get a fairly easy win early on. Next up, the welterweight title fight, Ben Askren versus Andrei Koreshkov. This is actually a really interesting fight, probably the toughest challenge Ben Askren has had yet in Bellator. Not the most reputable guy, But he does train with Russ Sport, with Alexander Shlemenko and Tiger Sarnovsky, both other Russian standoffs or standouts in Bellator. But he's coming in as the tremendous, well, not really tremendous, but a big underdog at plus 360, and some people have seen value there, especially the record of 13-0 against some decent guys, and he just held a win over former Bellator welterweight champion Lyman Good, which in that fight, although he did win, he did outstrike him, and he was able to nullify Good's wrestling. He did get his back taken in the second round and did get out wrestled here and there against Good, who also got out wrestled by Ben Askren, which Russ Sport has said they have a secret weapon, but is it strong enough to work against Ben Askren, who's coming with a record of 11-0? He's another favorite, negative 450. I'm also adding him. I just don't see Koreshkov stopping the takedown. I've said over and over, if Koreshov's going to win, he needs an Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen 2 kind of tactic to, he gets 5 chances to knock him out at the start of each round. He gets taken down. He needs to clinch, hold, look to get stood up, or just hold on to the bell, take a little as damage as possible, and just focus on stopping the unbelievable onslaught of Ben Askren's wrestling. Ben Askren is probably the best wrestler in MMA solely for the fact that he only uses wrestling. He doesn't divert from his tactics. He doesn't try to strike. He is there to wrestle. And I think he will out-wrestle Andrei Koreshkov 4 or 5 rounds, although I do think Koreshkov does stand a better chance than some people are giving him. People are on Koreshkov, and I can see where they're coming from, but I don't think he will win, although he does have the ability. And finally, our main event of the evening, Michael Chandler versus David Rickles. This should be a fairly entertaining fight. Michael Chandler, top 5 lightweight in the world, possibly one of the best. He's up there in the top 3. They love to argue that, but we'd love to see him against Ben Henderson. But that's neither here nor there. He's coming up against David Rickles. David the Caveman Rickles, really well-rounded guy. He's a tremendous underdog, plus 700. He comes with a record of 14-1. His sole loss being at welterweight with a questionable decision to Carl Amasu. He is a grinder. He gets faster as the fight goes on. He starts out slow and just keeps going. So what he really brings is a durable chin and great cardio. He has a decent ground game and okay strikes, but not so good wrestling, which is really where Michael Chandler shines. Chandler has really worked on his strikes and rounded out his grappling game, but he is an amazing wrestler. At 11-0, he's the tremendous favorite at negative 1100. Again, I already parlayed him along with everybody else. I got it earlier at a better price. Currently, I'm at plus 120-ish for my parlay, so we're not going to be making too much money. But again, I just think Chandler's gonna completely outdo Rickles. I think Rickles may be a slow starter with a very great chin and durability, but I think Chandler will test that cardio. I think he'll push the pace. I think he'll be able to get a takedown early due to Rickles' poor takedown defense. I think he can win the striking exchanges, and I think he can win the grappling on the ground. So really, I see him being better everywhere besides pure durability. I mean, if these guys were tied to a bar stool in the back of some Russian mob's place and were getting hit in the face with a hammer for an hour interrogations, I'd pick David Rickles. But if it's just the two of them in a cage, Michael Chandler all day. And with that, I conclude this very brief breakdown of Bellator 97. I'm really pumped for this card. This is probably the most stacked card in all of Bellator history, so it should definitely deliver. Especially with the prelims being stacked, I'm finally glad to see some talent going down to the prelims. So there's just some motivation to watch it. Not all the hardcore fans watch the prelims for Bellator. But besides that, following the fight card on Spike will be the 6th episode of Fight Master. Be sure to tune into that. Been some great fights so far. I'm really enjoying it. I know there's been some spoilers out there on who won, but do your best not to look because I've done my best not to look, so I don't want to know. But besides that, make sure to check out our main sponsor, the MMAmovement.com. I'm going to actually be on the MMA Analysis podcast this Thursday, breaking down the next UFC card, Jose Aldo versus the Korean Zombie. And thanks for listening, guys. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the fights.